Welcome to HSBC Global Viewpoint, the podcast series that brings together business leaders and industry experts to explore the latest global insights, trends, and opportunities. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with new episodes. Thanks for listening, and now on to today's show.
Welcome to Perspective podcast series. And I'm Zhenyi Tang, the head of banking, CIB China. And today we have Mr. Tian, the founder and the CEO of RoboScience. Hi, Mr. Tian, welcome to HSBC. And,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we have known each other for like almost a year. And I have seen you really, start a really brand new career to start your own business, RoboScience. And I also have noticed, and by the way, congratulations on securing a very significant amount of investment into a company. So, of course, I'm sure everybody is curious about how you have made this, and how is your journey of starting your own company, and by having all this advanced technology. And can you share with us some of your views and how you're doing, how RoboScience is doing right now?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I started my company at the end of last year. And before that, I spent 10 years abroad in the US. So when I came back with my co-founder, Shaolin, it was kind of a mixed feeling. We stand in the empty office room, just the two of us, and wondering what we should do in the coming days. And we already know the technology roadmap we should have, and we also had some funding for the start. Okay. So we were not that nervous, and we hired people, and we start building our models and start to building demos. And what we did was building a robot that can ensemble furniture by reading the manual.
Yeah, I saw the video. That was very amazing.
Yeah, so that one, I think that demonstrates the ability of our model and the potential of it, because it showed how it can understand very abstract information and also complete very complex and precise and long horizon tasks. And that demo, I think it's the showcase of our technology, and people really love the demo, and that's how that's our first milestone.
Yeah. And I think really, this is seems to me the very, very good and the typical kind of the startup story, among our overseas Chinese, excellent students with all the good technology. And when we're talking about the technology, can you share with us some of your views on how advanced your technology and how it is different from the other, for instance, like the normal or the 1.0 version kind of technologies? So, and how you are planning to use your technology not only in your RoboScience but also in other scenarios in other industries. What's your plan for that?
Yeah, so we know robotics has been there for 50, 60 years. And it has been widely adopted in all kind of industries, especially in manufacturing. And the property of the robotics 1.0 was precise and efficiency. Basically, people program the robot, and it will execute the task step by step, very precisely. And what it lacks is generalization. Basically, if we can have a robot that can follow natural language guidance and complete any task, manipulate any things, that will open up a big opportunity for robotics and also for humankind. Because now we can basically have replicates of ourselves that can be the delegate to do the tasks. And the technology we are building is especially good at generalization on 3 axes. The first one is the subject, basically the robot itself. Our model can be applied to different form of robots, whether it is it has grippers or it has dexterity hands. And that will make our model applicable to many different domains, because different domain require different kind of form factor. And the second one is the object, basically what you are manipulating. I can let my robot to grasp a bottle, this is a rigid body object.
Yeah.
And we can also ask our robot to knot a tie, fold a t-shirt. That's a deformable object. So our model can also generalize to all different kinds of objects that the robot needs to manipulate. And lastly, it's the predicate. So basically, it can complete different tasks, whether it is a simple pick and place or like a complex task like ensemble the furniture. So we can generalize over subject, object, and predicate. That's the generalization capability of our model. The major advantage of our technology is we have a very high data efficiency. We summarized the human knowledge about robot manipulation task and embed it into our model. We can let the robot to learn from video. Basically, we let it to read to watch the videos on the web, or we can demonstrate the tasks by ourselves, by human beings. We also built our own simulation engine. Like our engine will generate
That's important.
very vivid physical related data, which is the essential missing data for embodied AI, because that's the critical difference between embodied AI and LLM. LLM is in digital world, but embodied AI is in physical world. And we can generate physically precise data for our robots.
I see. Really, I think the data matters a lot in the whole training process.
Yes.
Not only you are, your whole system learning from the real world, but also you are generating a new set of data, right, for the robots to really learn by themselves.
Exactly.
And really add to another new dimension of the whole kind of research. Am I right on that?
Exactly.
Fantastic. So when we talk about all this data, there's one thing that we definitely need to mention, need to communicate with you that, okay, it's really on DeepSeek. Seems to me that DeepSeek has created a kind of new methodology by less input, by doing things like less means more, right? Do you think that the methodology that DeepSeek brings to the table, brings to the industry, can help you as a founder of RoboScience to really kind of moving things faster in the whole process? Is that helpful?
To me, the extra efforts or the success of DeepSeek is they embed human knowledge into this large language model training. They don't just bluntly throw data into the system and hope it will generate some very good new models. They really use their knowledge to refine the system, making less data, doing more, like you said. That's exactly what we do. Like, because embodied AI really need data, and physical real data is really hard to obtain. If you use teleoperation to acquire data from the physical world, that's like you can get 200, 300 per day. That's the maximum. And if you rely on this bluntly brute force way to generate data, like then it's a very long journey for you to achieve generalization. What we did was we use our knowledge, embed into the model and the data generation process, so that our system can learn faster comparing to those brute force approaches. And I think the impact of DeepSeek is it proved this methodology to the general public and to the resource holders. Like by resource, I mean capital, like investors, and I mean policymakers who can redirect the capital.
That's very important.
And I also mean the general public, who has probably the most important resource, which is attention. Like we know, attention is all you need, right? They can bring all this resource to this smart companies that will work hard to embed their knowledge instead of using brute force. I think that's the most precious lesson DeepSeek tell everybody.
And also, I think from an investor perspective, it really has pushed us to rethink our kind of methodology for investing into the new economy sector, right? Because the new methodology, new model, new dimension has appeared, right?
Yeah, I think investors can look deeper into the technology instead of just superficial metrics, like how much compute you have, how much resource you
The
have.
bigger the better. No,
Yeah,
that's maybe not the logic.
That's no longer the logic.
Logic, yes, yes. And also by developing all the new economy, the AI capability in China, do you see it? I mean, along with the development, of DeepSeek, yourself, do you see that the difference in technology, for instance, in AI area, the difference between China and US, do you see the gap is narrowing? Or someone said, okay, no, the gap is still enlarging. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. Like, I spent 10 years in the US,
Yeah.
and now I'm doing my business in China.
In China.
I have observed both sides.
You are the perfect one to speak on that, right?
Yeah, I think it depends on how you measure innovation. Let's focus on two sub areas. Like, first one is large language models. Second one is embodied AI, which I am working in.
Yeah.
So for large language models, the two algorithm pillars, the transformer architecture and the GPT architecture, they were invented by US companies. So that's the history.
Yeah.
And the physical foundation is the chips, GPUs,
Yeah.
and that are mostly owned by US company as well. So that's the fact. That's the current status. US companies had innovated important piece of it to start this new generation of AI, which is large language model. But if we look at the current status, I think the science part of the large language models has already like almost converged. Now people are mostly working on scaling and applications. To this end, I think Chinese companies have really caught up, or they have big advantages because they have the critical resource for this. Like, we have a very vibrant society that are eager to see new technologies.
Yes.
So I think Chinese
embrace
people,
the changes, right?
Yes, we have seen all these dramatic changes in the past 30 years, and we are used to it. Whenever a new technology comes out, like even my grandma or my
My parents are using over 80s. They're using
Yes.
technologies really, really good.
Yeah, they're really embracing this new technology, which opens up all kind of opportunities for application builders, which will further boost the foundation model builders.
The positive cycle here.
Yeah, that's a really positive cycle. And the complexity of the Chinese society and industry really makes it a gigantic experimental bed, or like a warm room to improve the AI technology, because what AI need is different kind of data and different kind of applications. And to this end, I think the application and adoption of AI in China is really matching, if not beating, the US.
Yeah.
Even those very traditional industries have started adopting AI, and this industry may not even exist in the US.
And honest, I totally agree with you. And I see the merit of China and the US working together in the AI or the new economy sector in large, because it's really not about the kind of competition between two countries, two markets. It's really about cooperating, and by cooperating with each other, and then bring the best of technology to the humankind on this planet. That's the kind of target we need to achieve.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think if the people in the two countries can really work together, as we did in the past, it's good for us, it's good for the US, it's good for the entire world.
Yeah. See, this is the dream from a scientist, from a banker, and maybe from all of us, right?
Yes.
To have this kind of common dream over here.
Yeah.
And last question is really on your future plan. And how do you see RoboScience and yourself and the whole industry, for instance, in the 5 years time?
Yeah.
In China or in the globe?
I think my vision is one day AI-powered robotics will become the coexisting species of mankind. It will
new
become,
species.
It's a new species. It will become the friends of people. It will help people work, and it will support people in life. That's my long-term vision. In the future, I hope our product, our robot systems will become like co-workers and friends and pets and all different kind of family members of people. That will empower the productivity and also the life of everybody.
And hopefully, HSBC can help RoboScience and the whole AI industry, to develop faster along the way. That's our dream too. Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for watching. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at HSBC Global Viewpoint. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with new episodes.